Today, we talk to one of VeVe's biggest secret rare comic collectors about the current state of VeVe, his passion for collecting, why he believes digital collecting is here to stay, and of course, we cover the OMI token. So, welcome, MrSquibs. Great to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I mean, I've heard a lot of stories about the amazing comic collection you have on VeVe, and I guess you also collect on other platforms. We will definitely get into that later, but first of all, let us start at the beginning. How did collecting started for you? Was it from the childhood, or did you start with digital collectibles? How did it all begin for you?
That's a great question. So I think I approached, my first foray into NFTs in general was through VeVe.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was more of a DC guy or DC kid growing up.
Yeah.
But I think, with my foray into NFT collecting with VeVe, it really just catapulted my passion and interest in really the Marvel world. So that was really the start of it for me. That was the gateway. VeVe was the gateway.
Yeah. And how did you recognize VeVe, and when was it?
A good friend had come over, stopped by the house, had dinner, and he was telling me, sharing some of his excitement for what VeVe had to offer. And I think shout out to Yurgo, one of my guys.
Yeah.
And at the time he was buying Omi for significantly more than where it is now. So we kind of joke about that now.
Most of us did.
Yeah. Yep. So it's funny now, not to sidetrack, but we talk about OMI now. And so a lot of the exciting things that are happening with Stacker and with the integration and real world utility of OMI. And now he's like, you know what, I'm down.
We'll get back into that later in the episode. Definitely.
Okay. Yeah. And so we talk about this. He's like, well, should I add more to my position? Should I buy more? It's like, dude, this is the time to be doing it, But anyway, so yeah.
No financial advice, by the way.
No. Don't listen to this crazy guy. Don't follow this crazy guy. But
yeah.
But if you do, who knows?
A few dudes on the internet talking about digital collecting.
That's it.
Okay, so a friend recommended it to you, but as you said, it was like your first contact with NFTs in general, right? So I guess a big problem or a big hurdle for a lot of people who get into this digital collecting space for the first time is like understanding what kind of technology it is, so that you actually own something digital and you can prove it. Was it something you had to wrap your head around, or was it like, yep, I got it right away?
Yeah, great question. That was really what, the idea of being able to authenticate ownership of something, especially a digitally licensed collectible or comic, really clicked quickly for me. And I realized, the value and the permanence, the scarcity, and like I said, the ability to authenticate a purchase. I had, there was a book I had read shortly before I had started my journey by Malcolm Gladwell, Blink. I don't know if you've heard of that, but in one of these, in one of the stories he shares, there was a museum that was seeking to purchase this physical artifact for their museum, and several $1 million. And this person, there was a few people that had looked at this piece and examined it, some professionals, and deemed that it was real and it was authentic.
And it wasn't in the end.
Ultimately, it was not. And so he talks about the techniques and why some people have this ability to sort of discern. But clearly this is just one situation where, this could have gone awry for the museum. And they were, there was a number. The bottom line is there was a number of people who ultimately were fooled, who were serious professionals.
Yeah,
And so when I read that, and then I heard about licensed collectibles, it's like, whoa, dude, this is an absolute no brainer.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
So because VeVe was connected to Marvel, Disney, etc., that gave you even more trust that that like this whole platform and this collecting journey is something real. For example, if you understand what I mean, because for me it was like in the beginning of 2021, I've discovered OMI and VeVe. And I mean, that was like the total NFT bubble with the 10,000 PFP projects right and left and everywhere. And I was like, I mean, not all of them can be valuable long term, but I guess Marvel has value already, Disney has value already, and they all have like a reputation to protect. That was a big point for me where I was like, okay, the chances that I get scammed here are kind of low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. That's
yeah, yeah,
exactly right. That's exactly right. Yeah, these are big brands that all that Disney touches turns to gold, sort of thing. In Disney we trust. That's another line.
yeah,
But I know there's been some frustration, right, with VeVe, and I recognized it early on. But I also recognized early on that VeVe is, for better or for worse, they're the marketplace. So what we're buying are the NFTs of some of the world's largest companies, and so I too took solace in that, and still do. And
yeah,
clearly with some of the things that are coming, including that interoperability, I think that's going to provide more credence to the idea that there's safety in this stuff, that this stuff won't just go away. I think there was a lot of concern about that years back. It's like, well, what if
yeah.
VeVe goes away? And I think that's legitimate concern, right? Um,
Totally, totally, yeah,
right. So, but I think that those things are starting to fall away. Because VeVe has clearly outlasted a number of people that said, "Hey, this is scary, and I'm out." It's outlasted that, and it's also it appears as though that Disney continues, and in Marvel and some of these other large IPs are continue to go deeper with VeVe. So to me, I find that very encouraging.
yeah, 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 definitely for me as well. But let us go back a little. So you said you were a DC kid. Is it still your biggest fandom, or is it now shifted more to the Marvel side of things through VeVe?
Yeah, I do. I'm a big fan of Marvel now. Because
Mhm.
thank you, VeVe. Um, yeah, I was a big Superman kid. I'm wearing my Superman
Yeah,
shirt. But yeah, what I love most about, I mean, I love the Marvel franchise. Uh, so it's really become something special to me. I watch a lot of Marvel movies now with our kids. Um,
yeah,
but I also really love the community that that VeVe offers. There's just more of a community feel. I love the DC community as well, but there's just more. I feel like there's a stronger knit community that's kind of gathered around Marvel, and so that's really what keeps me here too, is the community. I love it. So
yeah. Me too. I've said it a couple of times in interviews. I've never experienced something like that. So many different people, different character with the same hobby coming together. I mean, we a couple of weeks back we had the German VV meetup, and so many different people I would have never in my life came across if it wasn't for VeVe. That's just awesome, and I think nowadays VeVe is doing great stuff in terms of community building and getting people excited and making them more interactive with the whole collecting experience again, right? For example, like the OMI giveaway through Stacker, the leaderboard, or the what is it called, like the nominating contest right now with
Mhm.
like the biggest OMI meme, VV meme, etc. I love that initiatives. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, clearly the community is really taking well to it. They're very, very receptive. A lot of excitement.
Yeah, absolutely. So now I guess your collection, because also we don't have that many DC collectibles on VeVe. So I guess your collection is hugely on the Marvel side. Give us an insight. What do you like to collect, and how big is your collection? That would also interest me because I heard you are kind of away.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there's always a bigger whale out there, so it's a very relative term, right?
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I love some of the Grail comics is people refer to them as Marvel Comic 1, a lot of the first, right? All the FAs,
Mhm.
Marvel Comic 1, Fantastic Four 1, Hulk 1, TOS 39, kind of breaks the one streak there, but uh Journey into Mystery 83, 85.
Mhm.
So kind of focus on the scarcest variants of those. um
Okay, you collect mostly the secret rare covers?
yeah, I
Yeah.
do, um because some of these things at the levels are trading at and still trading at, I still maintain, trading at stupid prices. So I was able to, the last 5 years, kind of really amass sort of the top, you know 5-10 comics, most valuable comics in real life. I've been able to
Mhm.
collect those in really chunks of those secret rare markets. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
been very exciting, but also kind of seeking low mints as well. Like, I'm a big low mint guy. I've got a lot of, I think I have 33% of all 3-digit AF15 secret rare mints.
Okay.
Um,
Not that bad. I mean, yeah, that's kind of a flex.
including the
Yeah.
first non-public mint and public mint. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, those are some of my favorites. So, yeah, very exciting stuff. But I think a lot of people are kind of waking up and sort of seeing the strategy as an interesting strategy. So,
Mhm.
I hope it continues to work. So.
Yeah, I mean, we all do kind of, right? I mean, as much as I like collecting on VeVe, for me, it's also an investment vehicle. I have to be honest right here. And obviously, I hope that prices over time go up. And I would like to hear your opinion on that. Is it just the fun of collecting, or is it also an investment strategy for you?
Oh yeah. There's no question. This is certainly an investment strategy for me. Um, I do. I've been collecting things that I love.
Mhm.
These FAs, of Grails. But and some people say, well, if you just collect what you love, then it doesn't matter what you pay for it. Well, I would have to respectfully disagree. There's
Mhm.
for some of these pieces, I paid a lot of money. To look into my account is great, but I also enjoy the competitive nature of owning something that's rare, that's a one of one, that someone else in the community might want, and we could, negotiate deals. To
Mhm.
me, that's the funnest part of it all, right? So it's the community around it. It's the potential that somebody may want to pay more than you paid down the road.
Yeah.
Um, and I think all these things are valid reasons to collect. But no doubt, I am definitely collecting. From an investment perspective as well.
If you're new to VeVe and haven't signed up yet, it would really mean a lot to me if you do so with my affiliate link. Through that, you are not just supporting me, you also get 10 gems for free to kick off your digital collecting journey and grab your first digital collectible. And now, back to the video.
Yeah. 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 Totally get it. You've when you've talked about like your collection, it sounded like you only collect comics, but it's not just comics, right?
Yeah, that's correct. In fact, my first hit, I call my first hit, was when I joined VeVe. I got linked up with Mr. Pags,
Mhm.
and so he kind of guided me with my initial journey. And so one of the first purchases was a 45 Walt.
Mhm.
Um,
Nice.
and Yeah. So it started with Walt, and then subsequently I picked up the 47, then the 49, and then the 53 ultimately. So I'm just missing that 51 to do the whole lily pad thing. Twos.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then ultimately I've been stacking Waltz as well. I think I have 22 Waltz now. I've been really kind of amping that up the last month or two.
Man, just 21 more than me. At least I have one.
You have one?
Yeah, I've bought one like a couple months back because like I definitely needed this piece, because in my opinion, and yours I guess as well, otherwise you wouldn't collect 22 of them. That's such a significant piece.
Oh, it's an incredible piece. And once people love it again, love it like we do, I think clearly the price will reflect that. But it's one of a kind. It's the only NFT with Walt Disney, and obviously it is the trademark piece at every park. You know, it's visible when you walk in every park. It's incredible. It's a piece of history. So piece of history, I should say. But you know, I would be curious if Disney were to launch any utility around the Walt. I think that would be really exciting. Like maybe offering some tickets, you know, maybe a couple tickets every year for every Walt that you hold. I think that'd be really interesting. So that is something I'd like to put in Disney's ear.
Yeah. I mean, definitely that would be interesting. But I mean, we've speculated all that kind of stuff back in 2021, 2022. And nowadays I'm like, yeah, that would be great, but I want to see it first, and then I'm hyped up about it.
Yeah.
Would like one of the walls be like your personal holy grail of your collection, or is it something else? If you can just choose one piece out of your collection, or maybe two. Let's say two.
Okay. And we're talking VeVe here only?
For now, yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's Superman 1, right? Or is it?
Superman 1 is good. But I would say, the Walt is special. Maybe the AF15, the 51, lowest non-public mint. But also maybe the Aston Martin, the DB.
Is it the one with just like 7 editions?
Yeah, it's mint 7 is the special one for me.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah. Nice.
I usually go for the low mints. So I typically would go for one, but in this case, I am making an exception.
Yeah, I totally get it. Totally get it.
Yeah.
And okay, you've now I'm curious. You ask like just VeVe, where do you collect elsewhere, and what would be your favorite piece or your holy grail there?
So on Candy, of course, the Superman 1, the legendary mint 1, and you may have seen my post, but I just picked up the core mint 1 as well. So I've got the bookends of
nice
mint 1 on those, which means I think the people in between, those 3 variants in between, I feel like they're going to hold on to those for dear life, knowing that I'm looking for those. But if you're out there and you have a heart,
reach out.
Reach out.
Yeah. Okay. So is it just VeVe and Candy for you, or is it also Cryptoys? Are they still around? I'm not sure about that.
I don't know. I don't know if people are able to move those around after they.
No. Is Cryptoys still a thing? That was more like my original question, because I'm not sure. I'm just into VeVe. I have to say here.
Yeah, I don't know if Cryptoys is around.
Yeah. Okay.
Maybe I'm mistaken, but I.
Yeah. Maybe someone can write that down in the comments. So you collect on Candy and VeVe. Is there a third? No, just those two.
So I do collect on OpenSea as well. And kind of early on was into Moonbirds.
Nice.
I had a number of Moonbirds. I sold those off. But I also really love Almanacs. I think what they're doing is really, really cool. And really owning a piece of history and having partnered with Bridgman, I think there's a lot of significance there and a lot of opportunity. So just love what they continue to do. So
Yeah, yeah. A good friend of mine, VeVe from the German community, he also loves almond eggs. So maybe I have to check it out a bit more. I mean, I've seen some posts, but I've never gone down that rabbit hole. Yeah, maybe I have to. But let us go back to VeVe. When did you start collecting on VeVe again?
I think it was in late 2020, early 21.
Yeah, okay. Late 2020 would be like the first drops.
Yeah, so I think it was probably early 21 then. I think
Yeah.
it was just after some of those drops came. And I think it was just as the spike was happening.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Same.
yeah, that's what did it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so then the question would be, how do you like evaluate the current state of VeVe? Because back in 2021, the whole NFT hype was there. There was a lot of hype in the VeVe community, a lot of speculation left and right and whatever. And then we've moved into the bear market. But for me, it feels like the sentiment is coming back, and that VeVe has like built a really strong foundation over the last couple of years that they can use to make a big impact over the next couple of months and years, in my personal opinion. What's your take on that?
Yeah, yeah. I too feel like the sentiment has been changing, and I also think that's also reflected in the price of OMI. Although OMI has had some ups and downs, so I would,
Yeah, it's kind of volatile.
take it with a grain of salt. But I do think it's firming up, and I think it's setting up a base. And I think that's reflective of some of the changing sentiment. Um,
Mhm.
and I think particularly with with Stacker, the refresh a couple months ago, looking a lot nicer. The discussions about a deeper partnership with VeVe, and with interoperability coming. Um,
Um,
I think, and I
The
think
question is when, right? Because I think interoperability would be a huge thing, and would crush so many complaints of fathers, I would say, or people who don't believe in VeVe. That would be the
Mhm.
one big thing in my opinion, or one of the really big things in my opinion.
Totally
Yeah.
agree. Totally agree. And I think, yeah, I think there's something big coming, a bigger partnership. And I think it may dovetail nicely with the potential for interoperability. And I think that really will send things off the charts. I think people feel it's coming.
Mhm.
Um, and we just don't know what it is yet, but that's
Yeah,
something.
I originally I wanted to talk about that topic later with you, because there must be a reason other than like, or there must be a reason why gems will be not worth anything, in my opinion. I mean, we've heard some speculations here and there, but I also believe, and that's just a gut feeling. I posted it yesterday. I posted on X. I feel like there's something big coming just out of my gut, because they make so many interesting moves right now that I'm
Mhm.
like, something is brewing under the hood, in my opinion. Yeah,
Mhm.
but I guess we will be still here, and we will see what and if that comes to fruition. But I hope to see anything in like the gaming niche, or the Gen Zer niche, that we get a few more younger people in here as well.
I think that would be really exciting. And I think VeVe, both VeVe and Stacker are thinking bigger picture in this respect.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm also really excited about the Stacker version 2 whenever it comes out, because I've listened to, was it on, yeah, it was on Inform Mint's channel, the interview with WC Ente, also one of the German VV crew. And I think there were a few of really interesting nuggets in that interview as well. regarding like what could potentially come on Stacker version 2. For example, like you can pay with USDC or Ethereum or so. That would unlock so much liquidity, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And from what I understand from that conversation, is that, OMI would continue to be burned as well, which and I was like, are they leaving OMI behind? It's like, no, it's still very much rocket fuel in the system.
Yeah, but I mean, I totally get why people think that OMI was left behind over the last couple of years, because I mean, since like mid or end of 2021, there was not really happening anything for OMI because they were building in the background, right? And now we see like one OMI news after another, and I guess as soon as like the whole crypto market, as I said, no financial advice, guys, but in my opinion, OMI has a lot of potential moving forward. But let me check right here. Oh yeah, the VeVeverse. I would like to talk to you about the VeVeverse, because the VeVeverse was anticipated for a long, long time. Then we got the first version, and I was like, yeah, the first version was a really good one to get a product out. But now it feels like the VeVeverse doesn't really get any, or not the attention it potentially deserves. What is your take on that? And maybe, what is your take on that?
Yeah, agreed. I dabbled a bit when it first launched, and I know they've made added a few things since then. But I thought it was neat, but also I didn't quite have the time to dedicate to learn it. I was kind of hoping that it'd be a little bit easier to understand from the get go. Kind of like Roblox, right? Where it's like I'm watching my son play, and he's just kind of clicking the mouse and adding bricks everywhere, and then adding something like at that level. And also, I was kind of hoping that there'd be like some sprawling land, and we're all just kind of like building on it together, and we're able to see and interact with each other. So that for me, kind of going back to the whole community thing, that's really why I'm here. That really was what excites me, and I feel like I haven't checked in a while, but I don't know if that's still a thing where it's sort of like you have to kind of be invited to go into somebody's space, and it's like, well,
it's still a thing.
Yeah. So I think once they open that up, I think that'll be really exciting. That would pull me in for sure.
Yeah, totally get it. As I said, I have the feeling right now that the VeVeverse is not a priority, to be fair, even though I think it would be a great thing. But on the other hand, I mean, we don't know what they are working on behind the scenes, right? Maybe there are some partnerships coming or whatever, or maybe not. I mean, we don't know. But what is definitely sure, that they are always working and trying to improve stuff. But the overall app experience and web experience and the experience on Stacker has become way better. But there are still a few things that need like improvement. What would be something that you would like to see as a feature or in the app or whatever?
Within Stacker and/or VeVe? I mean, certainly offers. I think offers would be key. And this kind of dovetails into another story or a separate little anecdote. When I was buying this Superman core Mint 1, somebody had, this person had posted it the night before, and I was watching this thing, and continuing to watch it into the night. I wasn't willing to pay the price he posted it for. The following morning, I was kind of just doing a quick refresh and found that he had reduced the price by more than 20%. And so I said,
but it wasn't reflected on the post, obviously.
Well, in the posting, it was reduced by 20% when I and I thought, well, I got to grab this thing. And so I grabbed it. And just a short while later, one of the community members from DC reached out to me and said, hey, I was just doing a deal with this guy, and you ended up grabbing this thing. kind of bummed about it. I understand. And so it's one of those things. It's like, how many times has this happened, right? So if he was doing a deal with this guy directly, it's like, it should have been between them. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
I'm may the best man win kind of thing, right? If it's on the market, it's on the market. But it also made me realize like the importance of having a system of being able to make offers to people. And I think that also increases community engagement too, right? You can make offers to people and talk to people. So I think that is a big one, and I'm hoping to see sometime soon.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the key features that especially Stacker talks a lot about, right? Because I think so many people want this feature, and as you said, it would be a great thing to and further enhance like the community aspect of collecting. And I mean, in the real world of collecting, like the trading, the back and forth trading between two people is the most common thing, right? And making offers, getting deals done and stuff. Yeah.
Exactly right. Because you wonder about some of the stuff that you have posted. It's like, would somebody buy this if it were priced 5% less or 10% less? It's like, you have no idea. This stuff sits and you're like, well, so it'd be nice if there was some more, the ability to negotiate,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I definitely have a few pieces. I mean, those pieces I've listed for OMI are definitely too expensive because, like, I don't really want to sell them, but I would sell them for that price. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Everybody has a price.
Yeah, exactly. But while we are a little bit on the topic of trading physical collectibles as well, what is like your long-term view in terms of those prices and valuations of those digital ones? Do you think that those will one day reach like the prices of the physical ones, or could
I do.
potentially?
I do, and I think personally, I think they will exceed. I think both will always have their place, right? I mean, because there's scarcity in some of these IRL collectibles or comics, clearly. But and there's always going to be a number of people that say, "Hey, look, I've got this physical piece in a vault, or I've got it in my house," or. But I also think with digital permanence and community-driven worlds and AR and VR, I think and being able to buy and sell easily, with somebody across the world, paying minimal fees to do so, I think is going to drive some wild values eventually. And especially too, because it's like I think about like for example, like I did a post on Superman 1 recently, but so an 8 had sold 3 years ago for $5.3 million, and that was an 8. So I mean, what if somebody comes out of the woodwork with an 8.2 or 8.5 or a 9? So it's like and so that 8 is no longer a 1 of 1. It's like there's a better one, and so it's like when you're looking at something like like a piece, like a Star Wars piece that a 1977 mint. I know like Rudy and Tina have like the R2D2, and I think the matching the CPO is it CPO?
The C3PO,
the three CPO, yeah. So they've got those. I think they have the 1977s. It's like that's a true 1 of 1, and there's no other night that's it. So I think those can be potentially or a comic, right? Like a AF-15 secret rare first mint. It's like there's only one first mint. There's only one number 1. So I think for that reason alone, these things I think can see some more generous values in some of the IRL stuff. It seems like a no-brainer to me, but
even though there are like potentially more of the digital ones.
That's a great question. Well, I think in time, I think as more interest grows in this area and there's more eyeballs and more money in this area, I think some of the rarer pieces, by rare I mean like maybe like a 1977 Star Wars thing, or first public mint of AF-15 Secret Rare. I think those may end up being worth far more than what some of the other editions in that same set would be worth.
Yeah,
so I think like the floor on AF-15 Secret Rare now is like 6,000 or 7,000, whereas let's say that goes, I think the first mint or especially like the 1962 mint could be worth many, many more multiples than what
got it.
counterparts are, but that's where I think that's going, because they're true one of one.
Because a few of those pieces are true one of ones, right?
Correct.
As I understand correctly. Okay.
That's
okay.
exactly
Yeah. Totally reasonable in my opinion. Makes sense. But on that topic, VeVe also offers like the one-of-one artworks. Is that something you're into? Because some of them look so good, but I have to say I don't need to participate. I will not get one of those.
Yeah, I think they're really neat. There are some really neat pieces out there. And I guess I just don't know how to value some of these pieces. I feel like with some of the comics, I look at market caps of some of these comics relative to what some of the their IRL counterparts sell for. So for me, it's like I have some data. Some of these decisions, or a lot of my decisions, are data driven. But with some of these,
one second, before we move on, could you talk me through a little bit of your analysis and your data work you do on those? Would be really interesting.
So I've got a spreadsheet with some sophisticated numbers to look at, so I'll take some of these comics, add up the 5 variants, right? And so I kind of get like an NFT, like a total market cap of these digital of these comics, and then compare that as a percentage to what the like an IRL version of that comic sold for in at auction, right?
And how do you evaluate that? I'm not, because as you said, those are 5 variations or 5 variants in the digital one, and you only have like one physical to compare to.
Yeah, what the highest value is sold for. So like, right, the AF-15 sold for 3.6 million a couple of years ago. And so I take the market cap of the digital comic, and I compare that as a percentage to what the highest value one is sold for. So, and look at it at a percentage basis. And I kind of look at all the comics, or the top 20, 30 comics on VeVe, and say, well, and plug in these numbers, and it just gives me a number. And so what I'll do is just continue to buy a lot of these at floor as people floor them, and that percentage is, some of these are, like I think like Fantastic Four #1, I think, that it's a pretty minuscule percentage of what that I mean, ultimately, I think on Comic and Crypto's spreadsheet, I think, some of those numbers that say, hey, $8 million for Fantastic Four number, I don't think it ultimately, I think one of the highest grades sold for probably a percentage of that. But still, you can plug in some of these numbers and see, they start to make sense, where some of these are really, really kind of undervalued. So,
So it gives you a rough idea and a direction to look at, like what kind of potential those digital comics have, right?
Exactly.
Just as a side note, do you do something with data for like your IRL job?
Yeah, I do. Okay,
yeah. Okay. Now it makes sense.
Quite data driven. It's all data.
Okay, nice. But I mean, it's not the baddest thing in terms of like digital collecting, NFTs, crypto, to be like focused on the data and not too much on the emotions, right? Because just as a side note, back in 2021, everyone was like, "Yeah, we're going to $1 million for each piece." Right. I was like, yeah, I was hooked in that, but now I'm a little bit smarter a couple years later. But okay, great to hear that. Now it definitely makes sense for me that you focus on the data on that front. But let us go back to the one-of-one artworks where we've talked about beforehand.
Yeah.
Do you collect those?
Yeah, so I think they're neat, like I shared. Given kind of what I shared with the data, there's not a lot of data on some of these one of one
Mhm.
artworks, and so I'm just kind of a little bit unsure on how to value them. And
Mhm.
so clearly, because they are one of one, they do command some serious premiums.
Yeah, I mean,
And
you
so
just need to find someone who's willing to pay whatever amount, right?
that's exactly right. So
Yeah,
to me, that's a little bit more. God, coming from a gambler, it seems like gambling, but you know,
yeah, yeah,
but I feel like if you love the piece, if there's some kind of personal connection to it, or you just think it's really cool, then it's worth what it's worth to you, you know. But
yeah.
um, yeah, that's all I'll share on that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's shift this conversation a little bit from VeVe to OMI. I mean, in the beginning, you shared that your friend back in 2021 was like, or that you and your friend discussed, oh, should I buy more OMI? Yes, no, maybe. When is the right time? And on that point, I would like to know, what role does OMI play for you and your collecting habits on VeVe and Stacker?
Yeah, great question. It's no secret I've been accumulating OMI in the last 4 months or so, 5 months. Um,
Great time, in my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, likewise. I mean, I wasn't sold on the story for several years, because
Yeah.
clearly, as you had referenced, there wasn't a lot of talk about it. There wasn't any utility. And so I didn't see a reason to be a part of that. But with kind of with utility, and a lot of discussion, especially around things that Foster Hilta shared around the token being a lot more of a central focus.
Mhm.
I don't think they're playing around. I think they're really making this, sort of the fuel that's going to power the whole engine, And so, obviously with Burns now, I've really kind of gone all in on OMI. I'm a big believer.
Mhm.
And I think
Yeah.
too, with sort of making I don't want to say gems into like monopoly money now, but it's something that obviously you can
Yeah,
use.
it kind of is, right? It
Yeah,
kind of
right.
is, but I think it also takes a lot of friction points. For example, if you trade back and forth in the app, I guess that's not a taxable event then, if there's not a real money value to a gem. But not sure on that, but that's
Mm,
just my understanding on that. Yeah.
that's interesting. Yeah, that's a very interesting point. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a number of people who use gems just because it's easier. My biggest hangup currently with OMI is, yeah, having to go back and forth with the app to Stacker, and that's like you list something, it takes a
Mhm.
few, even if it takes 30 seconds to do it, it's like, man, it's just so easy to do with gems.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think at some point, I think that's the big focus, is to make that easier, to make it more accessible for people, to make it, um, and I think they're going to make that happen. And I think OMI is going to continue to be the bigger focus. And gems will be there for as long as they're there. And I think if as they continue kind of fading into the background, I think maybe at some point they remove them. It's just all
Yeah.
crypto.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, but on the other hand, what I've heard in the discussions I had with a couple of people is like, now that no, is it in November, right? 18th, 19th
Yeah, I
November,
think
so
19th. I
middle
think.
of
Yeah.
November, yeah. So when like the in-app currency are just gems, isn't it so that like VeVe don't has to back up those gem amounts with real money because you have to cash out through Stacker?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. That's my understanding, is that so it kind of frees them up with a lot of these liabilities,
Yeah.
which probably gives them some more breathing room. That's probably a good thing. And also I think I've heard people say that it really lends itself to a more efficient market, to a healthier market, because now the people are sort of there's less potential for, not that VeVe has manipulated anything, but there's less potential for manipulation
Mhm.
without gems. So it's like, because VeVe doesn't have a connection to it, then it's like VeVe is sort of like, okay, this is something you guys are cashing out this way. licensor gets paid, VeVe gets paid, Stacker makes a little something. Everybody sort of gets a little piece on it, and it's just more of a free market. So I think that should also bring about some more trust.
Yeah, totally get that. Okay, you said you've bought into OMI over the last couple of months, but the same question as the question beforehand on the collectibles. Do you plan on using the token as the utility token to buy more collectibles, or do you buy the token because you think that it could appreciate? Because in my case, I think there's a lot of room to run, and I will not spend a single OMI for the next couple of months.
Oh, let me tell you. I've said the same thing as I've been accumulating this over the last 4 or 5 months, and God, some of these prices have really got the best of me. Especially when they announced they were disallowed gem cash out.
Yeah.
So, I think for a moment there was a little bit of a swoon in the market, and I saw that as a real buying opportunity. So I went pretty hard. I definitely went pretty hard at the time, and also spent some of my OMI, which I now regret looking back, because I really do feel I think there's some opportunity and price opportunities with some of these collectibles and comics, but also I think the bigger opportunity at these levels is with OMI. So my new rule now, I need you to write it 100 times on a refrigerator, is I will not sell OMI. I will not transact with it unless I'm selling things to collect more OMI. So that's why I haven't really been a big part of this challenge in buying things with OMI, because I'm like, I can't let it go.
Yeah. I'm exactly on the same side there. I need to protect, and I want to protect my kind of small OMI bag, but it's still fine. Because we also have the burn side of OMI, and over the since the leaderboard challenge has started, we've seen some uptick on the burn side. So I guess last week it was 7 million OMI roughly were burned.
Wow. It's amazing.
Yeah, that is definitely amazing, especially compared to what we've burned beforehand. That was way less, and I think that's great. Even though the whole token supply is still huge compared to that. But in my opinion, those burn mechanics are a first small step into unlocking the bigger burn potential. So, what is your opinion on the burn mechanic of OMI?
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And as we do more, as VeVe and Stacker put together more contests where there's more opportunities to burn, I think it's a great thing. And I also think, I've seen a number of people who have used Stacker and OMI for their first time, and they're like, wow, that was really easy. That's great. So it's really exciting to see some of these veterans, some of these people who really have been around for a while, and they're like, big supporters of the platform, and now they're like, hey, this is my first time, and it's like, wow, there really is opportunity for more people to get involved here, to discover this. So
I'm really excited, looking forward what kind of other burn mechanics we will get, because there was a lot of talk about accessories and OMI exclusive drops, etc. But I guess for now it's just speculation what we will get over the next couple of weeks and months. But I'm really curious to see how the burn rate evolves over the next couple of years in my case. But that could be a huge impact on total supply if they do it right, in my opinion.
Agreed. And another thing too is, I also look at OMI. I watched the OMI market cap, and I think we're at about $80 or $81 million now.
Yeah, roughly.
But it's to see some of these, I don't want to say comparable meme, but there's, you look at some other meme coins out there in the space, and it's Dogecoin at 50 billion, or Shiba at 10 billion. It's some of these are just insane numbers, and they've sustained. Some of these numbers have really sustained You know, some of them are a lot higher. You know, Pepe or Bonk. You know, some of these meme coins that really have no utility and they're just fun. It's like, this is fun and there's real world utility.
Yeah.
It, to me, it's like, you know, 80 million
A
bucks. It's like,
no-brainer, yeah.
holy cow, man. Let me tell you, it's crazy.
Yeah, I think the same, and I'm like, over the bear market, I'm a lot of times asked myself, am I wrong here that much, or are
Right.
the other people don't get it? So,
Dude.
because for me, it's so obvious that this is, I mean, that's not, it's not 100% sure that VeVe and OMI will work out, but the opportunity that comes with this company, in my opinion, is so amazing, because like the millions and millions and millions of people of all these fandoms VeVe has combined and brought into this new medium, which will be so relevant in the future. I mean, I see is it a MetaQuest 3 in the background on your end?
You see it. Yeah. That's right.
So I mean, that will be the way in 5, 10, 15 years, how we play games, interact with people and all that stuff. And obviously, like, in my opinion, the digital collectible space has its part in that. So I
100%.
totally don't get why people don't get it.
Oh,
But
you know,
I
and
could be wrong here, right?
you know what? It wouldn't be your first time, right? Not for either of us. But it's funny though. It's like, you know, I was sharing this with a friend last night. You know, it's like, as people are flooring, some, you know, I collect a lot of these secret rare grails, and it's like, you know, the last 4 or 5 years, as people are just dumping these things on the market, and I'm there just scooping them up. You know, it takes some real conviction to say, you know what, I really believe in this. But it's also like, it's like, sometimes it feels like me versus 500 or 1,000 other people, and I'm buying all of their grails. It's like, what, do they know something that I don't? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Are they selling this piece that has some historical and cultural significance? Are they dumping it at this price because they know something I don't? So it takes some real conviction, but I also feel like we're coming around now where people are like, wait a minute, hold on, there's something big as afoot here. And it's like, well, okay, that hopefully you know, we really validate the strategy, you know.
I've seen a meme on X over the last couple of days. There was like one person. It was like stick figurines, stick people. Yeah, you know what I mean, right? So there was one person standing, then a big like a crowd around him, and he was like shouting, "You are all wrong!" And I'm like, I feel like that guy.
Yeah, it could be kind of isolating, but I think that the reward is going to be that much bigger
if it plays out, right? If we are right on that point. I mean, we could also totally be wrong, but yeah, I don't see how we will be wrong on that one.
And there's so many of us. There's so many people that are doing this. It's like, I'm not going anywhere. It doesn't seem like you're going anywhere. It's like, all these people are still, we're all still here. So it's like, we've already won. It's just, how much are we going to win? You know?
Yeah. And how much more people will understand the same excitement and the same hype and the same passion we feel about that stuff, right? Because as I mentioned beforehand, all those brands that VeVe has have millions and millions of hardcore fans out there. And I'm always like, okay, if going back to data, if just 0.01% of those think VeVe is cool, that are so many people.
It's really mind blowing. To me, this is like Bitcoin 2009, 2010. You know, it's actually funny. I'll share another little quick bit here. I know we're kind of running out of time, but you know, we were totally out. Fine. Yeah, we were out last month with somebody who had met and joined him on his boat. He didn't have a crazy boat; it was a little pontoon thing, but nice little boat. And there was like 12 of us, and and I was talking to the person who owned the boat, and he was sharing with me. You know, I said, well, what do you do for, you know, we were kind of talking. It sounded like, you know, some of the prior conversations he was talking about kind of taking a data approach to some of the things he was sharing. And I was like, this guy seems like he gets it. And I said, if you don't mind me asking, what do you do? And he goes, oh, I'm a Bitcoin broker. I said, a Bitcoin broker. And so he revealed to me back in 2010, he had bought 10 Bitcoin. And it was at the time he said he spent $70 on the 10 Bitcoin. So whatever the price was, it was 2010. And he said there was $70 of fees. And he's like, what in the hell am I doing? $70 for the Bitcoin itself, $70 in fees is $140. I must be crazy. And I said, that's fascinating. I said, well, what compelled you to spend $140 on these 10 Bitcoin? He says, well, I read the white paper. It just made sense. He said there was scarcity. There was permanence to this. There was essentially like a not burning supply, but like having. And he loved everything. He said it just made sense. And at the time, he said people around him were like, oh, that's just whatever. It doesn't, it's what are you doing? It's like, and so I think about that for the same reasons that I've gone all in on VeVe, for the same reasons. And I was kind of sharing with him, and he actually didn't know about VeVe. And I was sharing with him. I said, that's interesting. I'm kind of, I've taken a similar approach with VeVe and some of the things I'm doing. So I think it's really interesting, the parallels of talking to this guy who, so very fascinating.
Okay, that's a nice conversation to have on a boat, right? And then afterward, I mean, it definitely clicked for him as well, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So did he download the app?
You know what? I don't know if he did. I got to reach back out.
Okay. And by the way, if you personally don't have an affiliate link, send him over mine.
Okay. All right. Happy to do it. Happy to support.
Okay. Before we end this interview, this really fun conversation, I mean, we started off with the fact that a lot of people don't really understand and see what we see. So like the digital aspect of ownership, of collecting, and really proving that something is yours in the digital age. So I mean, your last story was kind of compelling, but what would you say to someone who is still skeptical after hearing our conversation? Still skeptical when it comes to digital collecting, if it's on VeVe, if it's on Candy, whatever, just in general.
Yeah, good question. So I think I think there's a lot of interesting NFT projects out there, and some are gonna some are here to stay, some may go away and lose all their value. But I don't think at the end of the day you can go wrong with putting your money with some of the world's largest companies. I mean, it's amazing. It's truly amazing what the number of licenses, the breadth of licenses, and the significance of some of these licenses that VeVe maintains. So I think if you're putting your focus there, putting your money there, I personally, again, not financial advice, but I think there's significant opportunity there. And I think, I think in terms of the regulatory hurdles, I think I think a lot of those things have been kind of worked out the last year or two, and continue to be worked out, right? And there's a lot more acceptance now. And I think, there's been, particular with VeVe, I think there's been some execution delays, right? But I think now they have more resources, and they have Dr. Profit's help, they have Stacker's help. And I think they're going to help bridge that gap for VeVe to bring us all into Web3. I really do. So very, very bullish on the space.
So for those who are still skeptical, just tip your toe in it. You can use my referral link down in the description, and you get like 10 gems for free. And for those 10 gems, you will definitely find a cool collectible to buy. And just get your feet wet and just try it out and see for yourself. And if you then don't like it, move on. Totally fine. But just be curious a little bit, guys. And yeah, MrSquibs, thank you so much for this conversation. I really enjoyed that. And for you who are still watching, if you enjoyed it as well, please let us both know what you think about the different topics we discussed. And yeah, leave a like, leave a follow. And I guess you will definitely like this next interview as well. And see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.